Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Chloe. For those of you guys who don't know, I'm an eating disorder recovery coach. I help people get out of energy deficiency, recover their period, and take those steps that they need to get into full recovery. So if you are new here, consider subscribing and liking this video so that you get more information on how you can fully let go of your eating disorder and step into full vibrant health. So today I'm actually really excited to talk about something that I feel like is unfortunately not talked about enough, but it is something that I for sure talk with my clients about all the time. It's sort of the main focus of our coaching. So today we are talking about relative energy deficiency in sport. Now, this was formerly recognized or known as the female athlete triad, which was a triad of three things consisting of a dysfunction in the menstrual cycle, so amenorrhea, low bone density, and disordered eating. So this was used to help identify female athletes who were potentially overtraining. Now in 2014, the IOC, which is the International Olympic Committee, they decided to I don't want to say get rid of the female athlete triad. They decided to add on and expand the female athlete triad, and they created this term called relative energy deficiency in sport. So pretty much this refers to a situation where someone has insufficient energy intake relative to the amount of training being undertaken. Now, I know what you are thinking. Relative energy deficiency in sport. I'm not an athlete, so this can't affect me. That's actually further from the truth. Relative energy deficiency in sport does affect those who are just recreational, maybe gym goers or recreational athletes. This is not just for those who are extreme athletes. I would actually even say that a lot of just like recreational gym goers get relative energy deficiency in sport because they're not really aware of how much they should be fueling themselves to make up for all this energy expenditure that they are doing via their exercise. When you are a top athlete, you have nutritionists, you have dietitians, you have coaches, you have lots of people that are making sure that your training is going to be top notch and that you are fueled properly. So while of course obviously it's happening a lot in athletes, unfortunately, but I just wanted to put out there that those who are professional athletes, they have a whole team around them that will help them increase their performance, and we'll talk about this, but I think that they are more aware of what this is overall. So you don't have to be an athlete to have this. I want to also say that just because this came from sort of the female athlete triad, you don't have to be a woman to experience relative energy deficiency. And I think that this was one of the best things that came out of this whole thing, was that we are now really expanding this to men and how they can be running into a lot of problems with overtraining and underfueling as well. And it's not just women. So with that said, I want to dive into what relative energy deficiency in sport is. So I really love this, and this was something that really helped me in my recovery to understand, because this is just really showing how much the body is affected by an energy deficiency, i.e. by eating too little or exercising too much. Now, if you have an eating disorder, you are going to be going into energy deficiency, i.e. you are not eating enough for the needs that your body has, and or you are exercising too much and not fueling enough to make up for that huge gap in energy needs. And when this happens, your body will go into energy saving mode. It sort of down regulates all the functions in your body. And this is why I think that it is so beneficial that they went from just the female athlete triad, which was those three things, all the way to Red S, which really describes the effects of starvation on the body or just not eating enough. Now, when our body goes into this low energy availability, a lot of our biological functions are really affected. So we're just going to go down the list of all the things that are affected in Red S. Now, before I get into that, I just want to make sure that you understand that you don't have to have every single symptom that I'm about to discuss right now in order for you to be in energy deficiency. Not everyone experiences everything, but if you're experiencing a couple of them, then it's really time to start looking at, are you in an energy deficiency? So the first one that I want to talk about, because it was talked about in the female athlete triad, is your bone density. So your body, when there's not enough energy, it will slow down the production of bone turnover. Meaning that you are going to be at high risk for stress fractures, osteopenia, and then eventually down the road, osteoporosis, which is a huge thing, guys. That means that when you're older, and this doesn't even necessarily gonna be meaning like when you're 80 or 90, this will be happening when you're like 40 or 50 years old. You'll be just like walking and you'll go downstairs and then all of a sudden, boom, like your hip will crack. So it's really important that we have strong bones, especially if we want to be active for the rest of our life. And that's like, I think one thing that I really hone in on with my clients, because my clients come to me and they're like, but I'm an athlete and I love this and I'm a cyclist and I'm a triathlete and I want to, I want to ride my bike. I don't want to stop. And I go, yes, I understand you don't want to stop right now. But the thing is, your body will deteriorate so much and your bones are going to be so depleted that by the time you are 40 years old, you are going to be forced to stop. And you're going to be lucky by the time you get to 60 if you can actually walk without breaking a bone. So, and I know that seems extreme, but this does happen. Like a lot of people, their bones really get that affected by low energy availability. And so if you want to continue doing your sport for a long time, for years and years to come, I really, really recommend spending the time now to really heal, which we'll talk about at the end of this video, but to really heal so that your bones can be nice and strong so that you can reduce your risk for osteoporosis. Now, the second one, of course, is going to be only for the ladies, and that is amenorrhea. So when you are not eating enough to maintain proper functioning of the body, your body's going to start downregulating your sex hormones because that takes a lot of energy to produce a monthly menstrual cycle. It also takes a lot more energy to actually get pregnant and to grow a baby to full term, and then to breastfeed that baby for a time after and take care of it. So the body inherently knows that, and it will shut down the production of the sex hormones so that you don't get pregnant. This is one of the easiest signs that's really like bing bing bing, like yes, you have relative energy deficiency, is when you get amenorrhea. It really is a big warning sign that us ladies, we should not take lightly. If you want to know more about that, I have so many videos on my YouTube channel about my story of amenorrhea, how I ended up getting it back, and this is one of the main things that I work with one-on-one coaching with my clients. So the next thing that's going to be happening is there's going to be a decrease in your digestive capacity. A lot of people have sort of IBS-like symptoms, a lot of bloating, slow gastric release, so you feel like there's this huge rock in your stomach, food's just sitting really heavy. That's going to be due to the digestive system really slowing down because, again, that takes a lot of energy. And also, your body, if it's not getting a lot of food, it's going to really try and extract like all it can from that food that you're eating, which again is just going to block up the whole system and slow it down. Your cardiovascular system is going to be really affected.
So I'm just editing this right now and I want to just interject a little bit. I realized I didn't really explain the cardiovascular stuff enough. There's so much going on with red S that it's hard to really dive into. Why is your immune system going down? Why is all this going down? But I want to explain the cardiovascular stuff. I just want to quickly mention really is just your heart is a muscle and your muscle needs protein. And when we are not eating enough and we have a lack of protein, or we have a lack of food in general, and our electrolyte balance is totally off, like we're messing up with our heart. And that's why a lot of people will have heart complications when it comes to anorexia or relative energy deficiency in sport. Also, it's important to note that your arterial walls need estrogen to help it vasodilate, which is to help it expand when needed. And so if the arterial walls become stiff and something is trying to move through, it can get stuck in there. So having estrogen is really important, not only for having a period, but for so many other things, even like bone growth. Like an essential part of that is having estrogen. So that was just a quick thing that I wanted to interject here. So I just wanted to quickly touch on one more thing as well. I didn't really talk about the mental side of relative energy deficiency. And so that would be irritability, mood disorders, depression, anxiety. All these things can be a common sign with energy deficiency. Also, disordered eating, of course, is going to be a huge part for many people. They don't know if all these physiological things are effects of relative energy deficiency or the cause. So that still is undetermined, but just I wanted to make that clear that there's a lot of mental things that are going to happen, just like we see with, restrictive eating disorders. You're going to have mental hunger. You're going to be preoccupied about food. Like all of that stuff is happening in energy deficiency as well.
Your immune system, your endocrine system, your thyroid metabolism, um, your growth and development overall, especially if you get or if you go into relative energy deficiency as you are young, you might not grow to be as tall as you were going to be. So a lot of things are really just stunted as far as growth in the body because you don't have enough energy to do this. As far as performance goes, there's going to be an increased risk for injury. And there'll be a decreased training response, impaired judgment, decreased coordination, decreased concentration, irritability, depression, decreased glycogen stores, decreased muscle strength, and decreased endurance performance overall. Pretty much what I'm trying to get here is that every single system of the body is affected by relative energy deficiency because your body thrives off of food and it needs that energy that comes from our daily intake of calories. And if we aren't getting that, and if we are training too much and expending too much energy, we're going to end up in an energy debt, which is going to screw everything up and get our body out of balance. So, what are the things that we can do to get out of energy deficiency? If you feel like you have energy deficiency and you are, you're having decreased performance, you don't have a menstrual cycle, you're having gastrointestinal problems, you're having sleep issues, you're all these things. I just can't stress enough how important it is for you to actually work on getting yourself out of this state of low energy availability. And how do we do that? We do that by doing the thing that most of us fear the most, which is we eat more and we exercise less. And I'm not saying like we go from running 80 miles a week to 60. I'm talking about we go from running 80 miles a week to like maybe one at the most, zero if we can get there. This is going to be super important because it's going to take a lot of energy not only to get your body back into an energy balance, but to repair all those things that have not had enough energy for a long time. So it really does require a lot of energy to get your body back into this balanced state. Now, I know this is going to be a really hard thing for a lot of you guys to hear, but remember what I said in the beginning of this video. You want to focus on this now so that you can, for years and years to come, continue to do the sports and the exercise that you love to do. Because all these things are really serious and the body will start to really break down. I've experienced that myself. I lived in energy deficiency for about 11 years and I really can tell you that it takes a huge toll on the body. You will start to feel it. And I was getting to the point where I was feeling like I'm not going to be able to maintain and keep up with this the rest of my life. Like I am going to really start slowing down here because I just do not feel well. I was always fatigued. I was starting to just burn out. Exercise didn't seem interesting to me anymore. I wasn't able to build muscle, which means that I'm not able to build power and strength on my bike, which means that I can't go at the speeds that I want. Like so many things were being affected. I was losing my hair, didn't have my menstrual cycle, meaning that I might potentially not be able, or, if I didn't get my period back, I was thinking, I'm not going to be able to have kids. And that was all really scary to me. Your body needs food and it needs to rest, and that really is the answer to relative energy deficiency in sport. And um, there are a lot of things that we can do to really help make sure that your body is properly fueled, especially when you start going back to your sport. And that is something that I definitely work with my clients, is understanding the importance of um, eating right before and right after working out, specific things, so we have a good window of eating in between your training. And especially for those long training days, we really learn like what is necessary to fuel doing those days where you're going on a 5-hour bike ride. So we really dive into a lot of that stuff. So I hope that all of this was helpful. I'm going to leave in the description box below a bunch of articles and podcasts and things like that from other people that I just absolutely loved, and it helped me really understand what this syndrome is and how I can get out of it. If you are dealing with relative energy deficiency and you are ready to just get out of it and to be in energy balance and to get your sanity back and to be able to train and actually see an increase in your performance and not a decline, if you're ready to get your period back, that's a huge thing for us women, then please message me. You can email me at contact.flowwithchlo@gmail.com, and let's set up a time for us to discuss if coaching would be beneficial to you. Like I said, I dealt with this for so many years, and I love helping women get out of this state of being, because I know how much it can just really affect your overall mental and physical state of well-being. So I hope this video was helpful. Again, please subscribe, like this video, share this with anyone who you think would benefit from it, and I will see you in my next video.